This has been a long time coming. I'm going to go through, take the 2005 Toyota Sequoia and start doing all the preventative maintenance, all of the maintenance. I'm not sure kind of the timeline on when it was done last, and also start tackling some of the opportunistic upgrades that I can accomplish while going through and working on all of this stuff. So let's get started on that. First things first, we're going to do all the fluids and filters. Let's do it.
We're going to start it out with a simple engine oil and filter change, then follow it up with a front, rear, and transfer case drain and fill. I always look at my Haynes manual and create a little cheat sheet for torque specs of any job I'm going to do. It just makes it a heck of a lot more convenient than having to jump out from underneath the vehicle when you inevitably forget what your torque spec's supposed to be. Just to remember, you always want to remove your fill cap in the differentials and the transfer case before you take out the drain. Never had it happen, but not being able to get that off to fill your diffs back up would be a significant bummer.
Oh, that was close. No shavings on that one. Well, I exploded transfer case fluid all over me. Didn't capture it on video, forgot to press record, and that's fun. So that's what happens when you're doing this stuff and trying to figure it out. I've done this before, but it is what it is.
I love the Valvoline flexible gear oil bags. It makes filling so much easier than needing to break out the hand pump.
We've come pretty far on wrapping up some of the fluid swaps and refreshes on this thing. Prior, we did the brake upgrade, which allowed us the opportunity to completely flush the braking fluid system. Another fluid that you'd probably want to refresh in the system would be the power steering fluid. We are swapping out the steering rack in a future video, as well as the steering pump, and that will give us the opportunity to kind of flush that system out. That brings us to one of our first opportunistic upgrades. Under here, there is a differential breather valve somewhere back here. It sits low on the axle and will get all gummed up, and then you start blowing out seals because of pressure issues. So I think the best way to get to this thing, probably from the front side of the back axle. I'm gonna clean it up just a little bit with some brake clean. Let's get some of the dirt and debris away from it so that when we take it off, none of that stuff is gonna fall into the axle housing itself. Pressure to build up in your axle because you might blow out one of your axle seals on the end, then allowing dirt and debris and water and all that kind of stuff to intrude. What you're gonna do is get one of the ones made for the front transfer case and differential that already are relocated up high enough out of the axles up front. I think they come up under the engine bay somewhere. You're going to get a barb fitting of the right size thread to match what came out of it. So you take this 5/16 fuel line and you use that to relocate a standalone breather valve up and in a safe area where it's never going to see any water, or chances are it's never going to see any water. A lot of people do that either in the gas filler cap, so they'll do that to the side of the gas filler cap and pop it through, or they run it up into the rear taillight housing. That's how I did it in the Tundra. That's probably how I'm going to do it in the Sequoia as well. And then to replace the threaded section that goes into the differential, this guy, which is what I found on Amazon, linked to the buy these as a set type of thing. These two together and this hose, along with a couple of hose clamps, I will link below in the description section of this video. I would really like to not fight things today. That would be kind of cool, so. That's always fun. You know what I'm gonna do? A few little spit. Yeah, that worked. So basically, I am going to follow the existing brake line path. Just secure this where it makes sense, give it a little bit of slack for all the droop that you want to maintain capability of. And I'm going to run this fuel line up over the strut assembly over there, kind of attaching it at a couple of different points along the way to my path of the rear taillight assembly. So let's do that now. All right, so this definitely looks different than in the Tundra. The Tundra had some gaps to be able to push it up to, but in here there really isn't anything. I could poke through this, and I might do that. I might be able to come through this, although that seems a little tight. Those come out really easily, actually. Basically what this does, this is a two-piece little cap. It looks like it's a one-piece because you can't see the gap behind there. But you pry that out, and it opens it up, allowing it to come out. I guess I figured this stuff out so you don't have to. So this little recess bucket here catches on the inside lip of the fender area, or one of the body panels in there, and that's really what keeps this thing from wanting to slide out, because that just locks it back there. So I had to take that out. Arguably much more than you actually need to do to get access, but I want to make sure I'm doing a clean job. I do see a little daylight down there. I'm going to stick this little coat hanger down there to kind of trace out where I can come up. So I passed down my little coat hanger through there. That's where it is. It's in there really tight, high and dry, looking good. Next on the list is going to be from my buddies over at OCD 4-Wheel Drive. They have developed an interior cabin air filter for these units because they didn't come with one from the factory. Little 3D printed action, some mesh filter material. Hopefully this goes a long way in keeping rodents out of the squirrel cage of your blower motor. Just clips right up in place. Next on the filter list, naturally, air intake. Actually, I'm going to take this opportunity to inspect my mass airflow sensor here. This looks damn new. Honestly, a lot of what I'm coming across on this vehicle is kind of just a little bit of proof to how well this vehicle was taken care of. That, for the most part, takes care of all the fluids and filters in the system. I'm going to be changing out the steering rack next, so the power steering fluid will be pretty much flushed in that whole process. The only other fluids in the system are going to be transmission, which I am not going to do because of horror stories of people burning up their transmissions by doing a flush of the lifetime transmission. I know there's supposedly safe ways to do it. I'm just going to avoid it. And then the cooling system, which I did buy all of the stuff to do a timing belt and water pump. I plan on doing it in the future, but it's not really due based on the last time it was done. So I am going to delay that actually right now, just due to priorities of other things I want to get accomplished on this truck before the summer. Another thing I'll probably do eventually is the throttle body cleaning, but really I've come across a lot of things on this truck that just show me that it had a pretty good maintenance history, or at least the maintenance history kind of stands up to what it says it was. And yeah, I'm not too worried about it right now. The truck runs great. So I'm going to delay that as well. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Follow the link below to join the email list. Be notified of a cool thing I have coming up for our community. Other than that, thank you for watching. Definitely throw any comments you had down in the comment section below. Have a good day.